Facebook and Twitter are among the most popular sites for social media. There are 1.5 billion Facebook accounts worldwide.
There are over 150 million Americans on Facebook.
25% of us visit Facebook 5 or more times a day. For the most part, social media accounts are purely recreational and for keeping in touch. However, as it's grown and developed, and more knowledge has been accessed with it, people have started to create false realities. So much so that people are starting to feel as though this type of practice is acceptable. 19th century American philosopher William James would concur because it displays the core of pragmatism being truth is what works for you. As we've learned from shows like Catfish, these false accounts often end in heartbreak and cause serious emotional damage to their makers and others. Once this occurs, James no longer finds this practice acceptable. Because social media can be so anonymous, it makes the practice more common and suggests a rise in these fake profiles for the future. With the perception that they will undoubtedly cause harm, James would believe we're going down a bad path, known as the social media machine. In addition to enabling us to keep up to date with our friends and family, social media has helped law enforcement. Creating fake profiles has helped us in the past to catch pedophiles who have been preying on children over the internet. A prime example of this is the popular show Dateline MSNBC's To Catch a Predator, where a decoy is set up in a chat room to lure a predator to their house. Once they arrive, policemen apprehend them and take them into custody for questioning. Policemen can create fake profiles or even just troll the internet to catch gangs. Gangs seem to be very open to airing their dirty laundry and bragging about crimes they've committed on the internet. It's become so prevalent that there has been legislation passed regarding what's posted on social media and how to deal with it in the criminal justice system.
Investigative methods used by police in making the cases.
And through monitoring social media,
Hundreds of postings from Facebook, Twitter, and other social media sites were included in the DA's indictment. The authors apparently didn't realize how those posts could compromise their future.
We interviewed several college students. They reported typical, recreational social media use, and none of them recalled a harmful experience with it. However, a few expressed concerns about how it could adversely affect job opportunities in the future.
Everyone was doing it. Once I joined Twitter, I can control who I follow, what I can see, and see what my friends are up to, you know.
So it was more of a convenience thing.
Just more of a convenience thing, yeah, and a pastime.
Actually, I didn't sign up for my Facebook, So someone else signed up my Facebook for me and kind of did, kind of do whatever it did. And Twitter and stuff like that, I chose to sign up for to keep in touch with like sports and actors and stuff like that.
Because my friends did.
My friend actually created a Facebook for me because everyone else had one and he decided that I needed one.
I joined it because it was my senior year of high school and all of my friends were posting pictures of prom and stuff like that, so I wanted to be able to see all the prom pictures and everything, and I don't know, it was nice.
I joined it way back in 2008 when I was younger. Everyone was doing it at the time, so that's when I joined it.
You mean creeping on people?
Alright, yeah, sure, creeping on people. Have you ever creeped on people?
I mean, everyone's creeped on people, but I usually don't do that. I actually use Twitter and Instagram to look at interesting stuff, like instead of posting like useless stuff like emotions or like going to the gym. Like I don't like that stuff. Like make it interesting, make like it a web page that I want to check out, and then yeah, definitely.
Sometimes you're friends with your whole high school class, and you never talk to any of these kids in high school, but you're friends with them and you know about their daily lives.
Not really. I don't use it much anymore. I just talk to people.
What about when you were younger, when you first started using it?
Yeah, I guess it helped me find some random stuff out about people. I don't know, I was never really a big creep on them.
More than I wanted to know for some. Obviously, and for like distant friends, just what's going on with their life. They got promoted, they're having babies and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, like it's definitely informative, that's for sure. You definitely, find out a lot. Like, I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot about like the hurricane right now, like from like the Philippines and stuff like that.
That's actually pretty common. Most people know a lot more about someone that they don't communicate with normally because of Facebook or even Twitter. Mostly Facebook.
They really are on social media sites, especially like posting pictures of like being at a bar, out drinking with your friends. Depends on the community. They could really nail you for that and fire you.
I definitely think it can hinder, but I mean, you're choosing to put, this is social media, so what can happen if you put something on Twitter or Facebook or a picture on Instagram. So it's important to, to pick and choose.
Networking, and so overall it makes it easier to hopefully at least get an interview.
Do you think that about Facebook or sites like LinkedIn?
LinkedIn's probably better for that.
I think that they should not see my Facebook.
If they did find your Facebook, do you think it would affect your ability to get a job?
It could, negatively.
No, I don't think I have anything on social media websites that I should worry about.
But you did delete yours.
I did delete mine, yes.
Because of job things.
You're right, because of job things.
Yeah, I definitely do think that. I mean, that's not a fact of matter of privacy anymore, because once you go on those things, you have to admit that you're surrendering your right to privacy. That's definitely a factor in job hunting, because that's no longer private information. That's basically information you're putting out to the public.
Yeah, I still would join.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's a cool way to interact with people.
Probably, because I'm careful about what I post on there anyway, so it doesn't make a difference for me.
I've done nothing different.
You regret nothing.
I regret nothing.
Maybe initially, just to kind of like test it out and see how it is, but I mean, I think overall I made the right decision to delete my Facebook.
Probably not, but again, that comes down to the mindset I would have and the age. At the age that there was no thought process for the future. If that had come out now, probably I wouldn't have joined them just for the fact of the matter of knowing future implications and having the foresight of that. Back when it was first introduced, no one really did.
While social media has helped us to stay in touch with our friends and family, it has also evolved into a way to view interpersonal relationships. You can reach the most amount of people with the least amount of commitment. This level of exposure opens us up to distortions of who we are. For example, something that is shared among friends as a joke may be inappropriate on a global scale. The following clips reflect this idea.
Two British teens are receiving massive backlash over their Halloween costumes. Amber Langford and Annie Collins, both 19, surprisingly won first place at a nightclub in England for their homemade display of the burning Twin Towers on 9/11. The costumes were engulfed in flames and even had airplanes and people falling from them.
Popular MTV show Catfish has shown us time and time again how damaging misleading others over social media can be.
Okay, so what's a catfish? Well, for starters, it was an indie documentary about how I met a girl online who lived in Michigan. I fell in love with her even though I'd never actually met her. Turns out she was not the hot 19-year-old girl she'd presented herself to be, and was actually sort of a troubled 40-year-old mom instead.
Surprise, babe.
Our documentary actually ended up inspiring a term that found its way onto Urban Dictionary. A catfish is someone who pretends to be someone they're not, using Facebook or other social media to create false identities.
Psychologist and sociologist Sherry Turkle has been studying how technology changes not only what we do, but who we are.
Some of the things we do now with our devices are things that only a few years ago we would have found odd or disturbing, but they've quickly come to seem familiar, just how we do things. So just to take some quick examples, people text or do email during corporate board meetings. They text and shop and go on Facebook during classes, during presentations, actually during all meetings. People talk to me about the important new skill of making eye contact while you're texting. The moment that people are alone, even for a few seconds, they become anxious, they panic, they fidget, they reach for a device. Just think of people at a checkout line or at a red light. Being alone feels like a problem that needs to be solved, and so people try to solve it by connecting. But here, connection is more like a symptom than a cure. It expresses, but it doesn't solve an underlying problem. But more than a symptom, constant connection is changing the way people think of themselves. It's shaping a new way of being. The best way to describe it is, I share, therefore I am.
It's no secret that social media is a big deal all around the world, and its prevalence in our society is continuing to grow. Following the pragmatic philosophical framework, we need to continuously assess our relationship with social media before drawing any concrete conclusions. In the true spirit of pragmatism, even as we continue to apply our old ideas of how we should view social media based on the self, we should be open to accepting the new truths we discover through social media outlets. If left unchecked, social media can turn into something really negative, but that isn't the only fate to which social media is bound. Only time will tell.